welcome everyone to the People's House.
Mr. Speaker, will you please call the House to order?
The bill is passed.
We want to make sure that we make New York a more affordable place to live, a better place to raise a family.
Welcome to Assembly Update. I am Assemblyman Angelo Santabarbara, representing the 111th Assembly District, which includes Montgomery County, parts of Schenectady County, and parts of Albany County. Today, we are going to welcome back Gary Striar, Regional CEO of the American Red Cross of Northeastern New York. Welcome back, Gary.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you. And this month is American Red Cross Month.
All over the country, each year the president and in New York State the governor has proclaimed it Red Cross Month since the 1940s. And we have all sorts of events during the month to sort of talk about what we do and to do things like recruit additional volunteers and things like that.
Well, I just got done donating some blood recently here, so I went through the experience. It's really easy, really simple, but there's a shortage because of the extreme cold weather in New York. Let's talk to the audience a little bit about that.
Well, during the course of the winter, as everybody knows, we had a pretty severe winter, and we're still having it over a lot of the country. Around 1,500 blood drives were canceled across the country during January and February, and that equates to about 50,000 donations of blood that were lost during those months. And we've been, scheduling extra drives to pick those up. But, this is a tough time of year between the weather, and then a lot of people have the flu. And when you have the flu, and obviously if you're sick, you can't donate. So we're really encouraging people now to get out and donate and to help make sure we have a sufficient supply.
Now, for those that may not know, people can donate blood on a regular basis, but that blood has a shelf life.
Right.
So it's not like you can store that blood for an unlimited amount of time. How often can people donate?
People can donate regular blood every 56 days, and so you can do it every other month.
And during my time on Everett Road in Albany, it was a quick and easy experience. It was simple. The first thing that we checked out was the iron levels. And that's important, I guess, to make sure that you're at a good level before you can donate blood. One of the considerations for people considering making a donation. And the other part of it is while I was the time that we were donating the blood, I also noticed that there's something called a double red cell.
You can donate just your red cells, which means they take your whole blood out, and then it goes through a machine right while you're sitting there, and it puts everything but the red cells back inside you. And we always have a need for red cells, and it's actually it bothers you sometimes a little bit less because you're not taking quite as much liquid out of your body. But you can do that every 112 days. I like to do that because then you can you only have to really do it 3 times a year, and you're doing a great service.
Yeah, and it was a lot simpler. I think it's a lot simpler than people think it is. So if you get a chance to stop by, I did it on the way home. I stopped in. It was quickly in, quickly out. Really simple procedure, and it's like you said, it can help save a life.
Absolutely. And there's blood drives all over the area. You can go to redcross.org or 1-800-RED-CROSS and put your zip code in, and you'll find the nearest blood drive there in practically every community all the time. And you just get to sit there and relax for 45 minutes and probably save someone's life. So
yeah.
It's great. So thank you for doing that yesterday.
Yeah, it was great to be there, and I met a donor specialist, one of your donor specialists, and very informative. Answered all my questions, and like I said, it was really simple. So if you get a chance, those watching at home, to donate blood, and you can see the pictures there of us during the donation yesterday. Get a chance to stop by. Simple and easy. You'll be in and out before you know it. Now, going back to the shortage, I know there's particular blood types that we are looking for. What are those blood types that are in need right now?
We really need all blood types. O negative is one that we particularly like because it's a universal blood type that anybody can get that blood type in an emergency. So that tends to be used a lot when somebody comes into an emergency room and you don't have time to do testing and things like that. But really all blood types are in need.
Now, I'm an O positive. I happen to know that from back when I was in the Army. I got my blood type and I never forgot it. Universal recipient? Is that universal?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. I forget what each ones are. But then there's the A and B. But the O is particularly helpful in situations of an emergency.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so if you know that blood type, and if you don't know your blood type, really easy to find out.
Yeah, when you go there and donate blood, they'll tell you your blood type, and then you'll know it forever. You'll know if your iron is too low, and it's a good way to find out if you're okay.
One of the added benefits, of course.
And plus the cookies at the end.
And plus the cookie. So I know we have your contact information that we're going to put up on the screen. If anybody has some more questions, they can call. They can stop by the Everett Road office, or they can. I noticed on your website you can actually sign up to do a blood drive.
Right, you can make an appointment, and they're all over the area. We have them at Everett Road, but there are lots of mobile drives and churches, different companies, so they're easy to find.
And it's redcross.org. At redcross.org, I perused through the website. A lot of information on there. A lot of information on training as well, and the procedure, and some other helpful information. Of course, the American Red Cross not only can you donate blood, but you're also involved in other parts of the community, doing all sorts of things during emergencies. Well, let's talk about some of the other things that the Red Cross is involved with. I know we talked about in the past with the extreme weather that's going on. It seems to be that the Red Cross is needed in various parts of the state. Let's talk about some of the other services.
Obviously, the disasters, we respond to fires, almost every day, particularly in the wintertime, as people do. There are heating issues and things like that. So we've had fires really the entire winter. We do lots of preparedness training, from anywhere from about 4 years old to a senior citizen, talking to people about general preparedness. They can learn first aid, they can learn CPR. We've got a new kind of CPR that they can learn in about a half an hour. It's called hands-only CPR, so you don't have to learn the breathing part of CPR. It's very simple to learn, and it's nearly as effective. So we encourage people to do that. And we're always, and we have a lot of programs to provide support for service members at home and overseas and their families. So we're always looking for volunteers for all of these programs.
Volunteers and people, and like we said earlier, people can get trained for these pretty easily. Sign up, sponsor a blood drive in their area. If people want to find a blood drive or get training, it's mostly local or a short drive, and it doesn't take that much time.
Right.
Part of the day, hours sometimes, or even less.
Right. We can do. We're trying to do make our training programs shorter because we know people are really pressed for time, and some of them you can actually do online now. We have some great apps now that people can use. You can put on your iPad or your iPhone or your really any kind of phone and learn about how to be prepared for disasters. And they give you all sorts of great information.
And I saw some of those apps, and they are very useful in times of emergency if you have access to the phone. And there's a lot of other things on the website. Anybody that's watching, please visit the website. Consider making a donation. I also noticed that you had several different brochures while I was visiting your office. Of the blood drive volunteers, warehouse assistants, all different positions that are associated with the Red Cross. What are some of the behind the scenes sort of specialists that work at the Red Cross? I know the donor specialist I met yesterday, but there's some other positions as well that deal with the Red Cross.
Yeah, you can. People can work at the blood piece of the operation, or they can work in our other programs, our disaster programs, our fundraising programs, our service to the armed forces. And the thing about our volunteer experience is we have so many different ones. You can do almost anything. You can be out responding to a disaster. You can be doing work at a desk. You can answer a phone. You can learn how to provide training. You can help people in the blood room who are donating blood. So there's just a wealth of opportunities in really all of our programs.
And we talked about this last time you were on the show with the weather events that we're having now. Obviously, services for Red Cross are needed more and more. What are some of the stats? Are you responding to different parts of the state? Are there particular things? We talked about fires. We also talked about flooding in my district, and we just had a forum jointly that we sponsored about upcoming events and how the community can give input. What are you hearing as far as the upcoming year? Are numbers up? Do you have enough volunteers? Are you trying to recruit more?
We always need more volunteers, and we're actually going to do a lot of recruitment during Red Cross Month. We particularly need disaster action team volunteers. Those are the folks who go out to the fires and actually provide the response. Fires go up in the winter, as they always have. We worry about spring flooding, and this year, obviously, we got a pretty big snowpack, and it's getting late in the year, so the big worry is that it melts fast, or ice jams and things like that. And we know there are a lot of areas of this area that are pretty prone to those sorts of things. And then we start preparing for, you get into severe weather in the spring, hurricanes, the things like that. So I think our big concern now is being ready for spring flooding.
And it seems like, and I think we mentioned this before as well, in New York, we have every type of weather event you can think of, and hurricanes as well. Everything, fires and flooding, a lot of severe weather has been occurring in New York. And certainly we want to thank you for being there. One of the first things you see is the American Red Cross is there. And I go back to the last year, the flooding that occurred in Fort Plain in my district. I know setting up a shelter is one of the first things that happens when you're on the scene. And when an emergency happens, you respond pretty quickly. Those shelters are already pre-designated.
Yeah, we have them all, inventoried ahead of time. We know what's in the shelter because we need to know exactly what the space is and all of that. And we need to work out ahead of time with the folks who own the building, that we can use it. So we can stand a shelter up in the matter of a couple of hours. And we have all these trailers parked in different places that we can hook to vehicles and pull them in, and they've got the cots and the blankets and the supplies. I know in Fort Plain we got a shelter open in a matter of hours, and that's always the first priority, to make sure people have a safe place to go when there's a disaster. And that was really important in Fort Plain.
And if people want to find their shelter, I know there's an app for that,
Yes.
but there's also on the website, they could probably locate their shelter pretty quickly just to have knowledge of where it is in an emergency.
And we always try to put it out to the media very heavily, so it tends to be on TV and radio and things like that. But they're really easy to find with the Find a Shelter app that we have now.
So what are you finding are the biggest challenges for the American Red Cross coming up this year?
Fundraising is a struggle each and every day. We've had so many big disasters. People have been so generous with their dollars, but we really need to continue to support the daily work we do. For us, it's that our services depend on support from the public. The blood donations, the financial donations, and the volunteering. So we, continue to have to push those, each and every day. So that's a struggle, and times are tough for people. So financial donations are not that easy to come by sometimes, and the demand for our services keep going up. There's more fires, there's more people who need to be prepared for these disasters that seem to happen way too frequently now. Those are really the main challenges.
And people watching, if they want to make a donation or help, that can be done online or via phone as well?
Yeah, they can go to redcross.org/NENY, or you can call our chapter at 458-8111. And you can sign up to volunteer. You can sign up to donate blood. You can provide a financial donation. And there's also lots of interesting preparedness information right there that you can download. Checklists of how to be prepared for fire, common causes of disasters, things like that.
Great. And again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for sharing that information, and I want to thank you for all the work that you do during emergencies, efforts to make sure we rebuild our blood supply as well to help save lives. It was great to join you yesterday. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the American Red Cross.
Thanks for calling the GED Pep Talk Center. Jerry Stiller speaking. Your level 7 in-your-face pep talk.
I can keep pushing. Believe me, I'm good at it.
Once you've got your GED diploma, you'll feel so good about yourself.
You tell them.
Mr. Trejo, can I transfer this guy to you? He needs something a little more
Persuasive.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything...
It is I, Grooves Zinkerbell. Okay, time for cake.
It's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Drew. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Kids will spend 8 minutes decorating their little brother.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Live with a human for a while and you get to know a few things. Like, I know she's actually not a morning person. I know she does strange tricks for no treats. I know that water makes her howl like crazy. I even know how the floor stays so clean. She's quick. But the one thing I will never for the life of me know is how she gets so tiny and inside that box. Natalie, how do you get so tiny?
Welcome back to Assembly Update. I am Assembly Member Angelo Santabarbara. District office in Amsterdam is at 1170 Riverfront Center, Amsterdam, New York, 12010. I can be reached by phone there at 518-843-0227. In the city of Schenectady, my district office is at 433 State Street, Schenectady, New York, 12305. I can be reached by phone there at 518-382-2941. As always, by email at santabarbara@assembly.state.ny.us. Keep up to date on current events and follow me on my Facebook page under Angelo Santabarbara. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at ASM Santabarbara or on Instagram under Assemblyman Santabarbara. Welcome back to Assembly Update. We've been talking with Gary Striar, Regional CEO of the American Red Cross for Northeastern New York. We've been talking about all of the important work that the American Red Cross has been doing across our communities. One of those items that we talked about is the importance of donating blood.